Have you ever looked around and wondered how ordinary people keep ending up with lifestyles that seem one wrong turn away from a financial cliff? I'm talking about the coworker who makes barely more than you do, but somehow shows up with the newest tech, designer clothes, or a weekend escape that costs more than your monthly rent. And the wild part is, they're not hiding some secret fortune, no trust fund, no mysterious inheritance. Just regular Americans navigating a system that's gotten frighteningly good at making the impossible look affordable. And if you've ever felt confused, annoyed, or even a little insecure watching someone live big on an income that doesn't make sense, you're not alone. Because what you're seeing isn't wealth, it's a carefully engineered illusion built on modern money habits, persuasive marketing, and a financial culture that convinces people they deserve everything now and can worry about the price later. What's even more fascinating is how this phenomenon has quietly become the new normal. Everywhere you look, people are stretching their budgets to the breaking point, yet acting as if it's completely reasonable. Americans are juggling subscriptions they forgot they had, financing furniture that won't survive a single move, and locking themselves into payments that follow them longer than some relationships. And it's not because they're reckless or irresponsible. It's because the entire consumer ecosystem is engineered to blur the line between can afford and can survive, for now. The marketing is seductive, the financing is convenient, and the social pressure is relentless. Over time, this cocktail of psychology and clever money mechanics creates a world where living beyond your means doesn't feel extravagant, it feels expected. And once that expectation settles in, people stop asking the one question that could save them thousands of dollars. Wait, is any of this actually sustainable? But that's exactly where things start to get interesting. Here's the twist that flips this whole story on its head. People aren't overspending because they're bad with money. They're overspending because they're human. They're not buying a car, a phone, or a luxury trip. They're buying a sense of who they wish they were, a temporary escape from feeling average, or a shortcut to confidence they don't naturally feel. And when a purchase speaks to the ego, not the wallet, the price tag becomes background decoration. That emotional high is so convincing that the future cost feels like someone else's problem. But emotion alone doesn't explain how people manage to carry these costs month after month. There's an entire system working quietly in the background, making every oversized purchase look shockingly reasonable. It starts with the oldest trick in consumer psychology: shrink the pain. Instead of showing you the full price, companies slice it into a friendly monthly payment that feels harmless. Suddenly, a $4,000 couch becomes only $89 a month, like you're subscribing to furniture the same way you subscribe to Netflix. And once the price gets chopped into bite-sized pieces, your brain stops treating it like a serious financial commitment. Then comes the financing magic. Longer terms, lower payments, buy now, pay later plans, promotional rates that sound like free money, every tool engineered to make the financial trap look like a smart decision. Stretch a purchase over 24, 36, even 60 months, and eventually the number stops looking scary. It starts looking doable. And that's exactly the point, because the more doable it feels, the easier it is to justify something you absolutely cannot afford. Add in a little social pressure, a little fear of missing out, a little "you deserve this" messaging, and suddenly modern money habits transform into something dangerously deceptive. The system isn't helping you buy, it's helping you believe. And belief is the most profitable product of all. But the real engine driving all of this isn't the financing, or the marketing, or even the low monthly payment. It's the psychology underneath. Human beings are wired to chase identity long before they calculate cost, which is why identity spending is one of the most powerful and dangerous financial behaviors in America today. People don't just want to own something, they want to become someone. That's why the moment a product promises status, confidence, or a shortcut to feeling above average, logic quietly steps aside, and the brain, being the brilliant liar that it is, immediately starts building a case for the purchase. You work hard. You deserve this. Everyone else has one. What's the big deal? Once those thoughts take over, the numbers don't stand a chance. And it doesn't stop there. Social comparison plays its part too. When everyone around you appears to be living well, you feel pressure to keep pace, even if it means drowning in debt. Add the dopamine hit from buying something new, paired with clever advertising whispering that this purchase will finally make life feel easier, and overspending becomes less of a mistake and more of a coping mechanism. The result is a cycle where emotion makes the decision and money cleans up the mess. And for millions of Americans, that mess quietly grows until it becomes a lifestyle they never intended to build. And once the purchase is made, the real gymnastics begin. Most people don't magically earn more money to cover their new lifestyle. They simply rearrange their lives to survive it. They trim groceries, cancel plans, cut corners, and convince themselves it's temporary. Some pick up a side hustle, driving Uber in the same overpriced car they bought to feel successful in the first place. Others quietly shift necessities onto credit cards, promising they'll pay it off next month, even though next month already has its own financial storm waiting. And then there's the emotional toll, the stress of juggling bills, the constant mental math, the late-night worry that maybe this wasn't the smartest move, but still pushing forward because backing out would feel like admitting failure. It's a perfect illustration of the debt cycle. You don't just pay for the purchase with money. You pay with time, energy, and peace of mind. Modern spending habits turn into modern coping habits. Before long, people adapt to the pressure the same way someone adapts to carrying a heavy backpack. They don't get stronger. They just forget what it felt like to walk without one. And that quiet, creeping adjustment is exactly how overspending turns from a one-time decision into a lifestyle that slowly shapes every other choice. What makes this even more overwhelming is how quickly one person's financial stretch becomes a household routine. It rarely stops at a single purchase. A partner wants something similar so they don't feel left behind. Kids start absorbing the message that normal means having the latest everything. Soon the whole family is juggling payments, subscriptions, upgrades, and expectations they never consciously agreed to. And when multiple people in a home are locked into long-term commitments, the strain multiplies. Vacations get postponed, savings get ignored, and every unexpected expense feels like a crisis. This is how lifestyle inflation quietly embeds itself into family finances, not through dramatic decisions, but through tiny adjustments everyone makes to keep up with a version of life they were never financially prepared for. No one talks about it at the dinner table, but everyone feels it. And by the time a family realizes how heavy the load has become, they're already carrying it together, wondering when it became so normal to survive instead of live. Here's where everything that felt manageable suddenly stops making sense. Because when you slow down and actually add up what these purchases cost over time, the numbers don't just get uncomfortable, they get absurd. A $2,500 vacation financed on a credit card with interest quietly becomes a $3,800 vacation. A $3,000 laptop paid off over 2 years morphs into a $4,200 laptop. And those monthly payments that once felt harmless, they snowball into a long-term financial commitment that eats into every future goal you think you're working toward. The real shock isn't the price on the tag, it's the true cost buried under interest, fees, missed opportunities, and the years of income you sacrificed to keep up. And if you compare that cost to what the same money could have done if invested or saved, the gap becomes almost painful. You start to see how the system wins twice. First, when you buy the thing, and again when you spend years paying for it. That's the part most people never calculate. They're not just trading money for an item, they're trading future choices for a momentary feeling. And by the time the math reveals the truth, the damage is already baked into their long-term debt. And once you finally see the full picture, something shifts. You realize none of this was ever about owning nicer things. It was about chasing a feeling the world kept telling you needed. But here's the quiet truth. You don't have to buy your way into a better life. Sometimes the real upgrade is choosing peace over pressure, clarity over chaos, and freedom over the illusion of status. The system isn't built to help you win, but you can still step outside of it. You can choose to spend with intention instead of impulse, to value your future more than a fleeting rush, to let go of the idea that your worth is measured by what you can finance, because at the end of the day, the most valuable thing you can own isn't a lifestyle, it's control, and control starts the moment you decide to stop paying for a life that was never truly yours.